Hello everyone, welcome back to bass clarinet tutorials, and today will be our fourth lesson. So today we're going to discuss the two major methods or two major ways that you can play the bass clarinet. And I'm sure that if you've seen some other tutorials on woodwind instruments, you've probably heard of these methods, or you've probably even seen people play their instruments using these methods. And the two methods we're going to talk about are firstly slurring and secondly tonguing. To first walk you through slurring is essentially when there are no pauses between your notes. So you're keeping your air consistent. There should not be breaks or stops to divide your notes. So for example, between these notes, there were no stops, and that's because I was keeping my air consistent. You can contrast this to tonguing, whereby you create stops between your notes by using your tongue. So it should sound something like, as you can see, my tongue is touching the reed of the mouthpiece, and that's what's stopping the air from continuing. I think slurring and tonguing are quite difficult skills to learn because you can't actually see me doing it, right? Because you can't look inside of my mouth or how my tongue is interacting with the reed. And although it's different for everyone, in general your tongue should be touching around the top of your reed, or a little downwards of from the top. So yeah, in essence, you want your tongue to be touching the reed, and that's how your sound is going to stop. And to be honest, because the place where your tongue will be touching is a little different for everyone, this requires a little bit of experimenting and practicing on your part. And tonguing will be hard at first, to be honest, because even I didn't understand this concept until a couple months, like a year after playing the bass clarinet. But this is just something that you have to continue practicing with different songs, and eventually it will come to you. So personally, I think slurring is a little bit easier because all you need to do is focus on creating a full sound and maintaining your air that goes through. So what I would suggest to you is, if you're working on a piece that has hard rhythm, so you have a lot of articulation, you need to do a lot of tonguing, I would suggest practicing it by slurring through the notes first, so you have an understanding for which notes you need to play, and then you can add in your tonguing and articulation. So the first thing I'm going to show you is what it sounds like to actually slur a piece, so I'll be showing that to you right now. Okay, now I'm going to show you what it looks like to tongue a piece, and since it's Christmas time, I'll tongue Jingle Bells. That's essentially it for the differentiation between tonguing and slurring. Like I said, tonguing is pretty difficult, so it's not your fault if you don't get it at first. One thing I really wouldn't recommend though is getting in a habit of just blowing your air, because there is a way to separate your notes without necessarily putting your tongue on the mouthpiece. For example, I did not put my tongue, and yet the notes are still separated. And although this is easier to do, I really would not recommend doing this, because once you get in a habit, it's very hard to fix. And also, if you continue this habit, when you get to faster pieces with more difficult rhythms, you're really going to be struggling in order to get them all right. So that's basically it. I'd say practice is key again, especially for tonguing. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys next time.
We must look upon the one who came to us, Redeemer who came down to save us.